From Denzel Washington admitting that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, to T.I. meeting MJ in Atlanta's hottest strip club, these are the best celebrity stories about basketball legend Michael Jordan. Did you know that Denzel Washington tried to get Jordan drunk before a game against the LA Lakers? True story. Denzel, I know that King Kong ain't got on you. And yes, you are the equalizer, but some Chicago Bulls fans might not be happy when they find out you tried to do that, and we'll get to that in a minute. You know why Denzel calls Jordan the greatest of all time?
Play a little defense. Jordan says, let me take you to the post. There it is, left baseline. Yes.
Because he saw the iconic baller live in action, courtside, up close and personal. Washington was able to witness Jordan's historic greatness firsthand. Not surprisingly, when you're a basketball god and one of the most famous people on the planet, you're going to rub elbows with other famous people. And no matter where MJ went, he always drew a ton of attention over the years.
That we can get back.
So one of the things about your friends is you got Wayne Brady and John Legend tonight.
Jordan has amassed a group of famous friends: Mark Wahlberg, Jamie Foxx, just to name a few. The truth is, however, not every famous person was rooting for Jordan back in the day. Washington, who's famous for starring in movies like John Q, Training Day, The Equalizer franchise, and many more, once stopped by the Jimmy Kimmel Show and discussed his love of basketball. You're probably asking yourself, why would Denzel Washington try to get Jordan drunk right before a Laker game?
You see it, Marion gets up into him, he's going to force him to take a tough shot. The fade, think about.
So here's why. You see, Washington has always loved the Los Angeles Lakers, and initially when Michael Jordan burst on the scene, Denzel was not convinced that he was in fact the GOAT. But over time, Washington's perception of Jordan began to change. While speaking to Jimmy Kimmel, Denzel picked Michael Jordan as the greatest basketball player who had ever walked the earth, and Washington confessed that he once tried to play a significant role in Jordan's performance one night.
Come out ready to play. I think this team is better and improved over last year, and coaching staff seemed.
Because he was about to play the Lakers. Being a Lakers superfan, Denzel tried to get Jordan drunk before the game in order to throw Jordan off his game. But things didn't go exactly according to plan. Denzel told Jimmy, "I was at the Chicago Bulls game with Spike Lee. Michael Jordan made that famous shot. I was there, and we went out to dinner last night. And he was famous. I was doing security work. Michael Jordan was famous. I went out with them after that game, because after that game, they were coming to LA.
Jordan has come up with another steal.
And I was trying to get him drunk. Trying to get him off didn't work. Not surprisingly, Jimmy was curious, and he had to get all the details. So he asked Denzel about MJ's drinking tactics, and Washington revealed that Jordan didn't do shots, only put the drink to his lips and then put it down. Jimmy then asked if MJ was the GOAT, and Denzel's response was great. He simply said,
well, I don't know about that, but he is a good athlete. I know he was a basketball player at one time, so I know he can get.
He was that night, and then burst into laughter. There are so many fantastic stories about Michael Jordan, but most of them center around how the legendary player was able to go out all night, not sleep, and then drop 30 points on his rivals. But that night with Denzel, Jordan knew to be careful and not mess anything up before a big game against a team like the Lakers, who, let's be honest, are always a dangerous threat, and not a team to be underestimated or taken lightly. In his prime,
He's behind him, he just throws it up there. Ah, beautiful.
Jordan knew how to enjoy himself and have a good time while he was out on the town. But at the same time, he was quick to identify and realize when a situation could be bad for him, and he would act accordingly. A large part of Jordan's greatness comes from who he is off the basketball court. He's genuinely kind, and he's humble. In fact, Chris Rock once called Jordan unhateable. Rock even compared Jordan to another legend, comedy star.
I'm in my head that said, if I can learn to swim, I can do anything. If I can conquer this.
Chris Farley. Sadly, Farley left us all too soon. But Rock and Farley were great friends. And by all accounts, everyone who knew Chris Farley talks about what a great guy he was, and that he was truly a kind soul. For Rock to make such a comparison with Michael Jordan tells us a lot about the kind of person that Jordan really is behind closed doors. In an era when people are shining a light on rich and powerful men who are morally bankrupt.
Jackson, you got it? Okay, guys, everybody.
It's nice to know that there are still some good guys left in the world. Did you know that the famous rapper known as Macklemore had an interesting and hilarious encounter with Michael Jordan? Macklemore found out the hard way that Jordan is not a fan of the color green.
Conversation. Shout out to Reggie and Gmo and Jordan, my guys.
The rapper revealed that he once talked to Jordan about a green color scheme for the Air Jordan 6s. But according to Macklemore, Jordan said, green. Macklemore was taken aback by Jordan's response, and naturally he was curious. So he asked Jordan, why? And Jordan said simply, because I don't want to look like I'm wearing Christmas. A hilarious response from the GOAT. Despite receiving Jordan's input and feedback, Macklemore went ahead and had a custom pair of green Air Jordan 6s made anyway. Another famous rapper had a memorable encounter with Michael Jordan as well. But this encounter wasn't just interesting, it was totally wild. Back in 2018, the King of the South,
just screaming, I watch him drive to the hoop. A great job by Smith. He grabs him across the arm.
T.I., aka Clifford Harris, talked about meeting Jordan for the very first time at Atlanta's famous Magic City strip club. Booties were shaking and bottles were popping as Jordan and T.I. partied until the sun came up. It turns out that Jordan and T.I. both have a fondness for gambling, specifically poker. T.I. spoke of his first encounter with Jordan, saying, "He was signing my shoes, and I wore those shoes just for them to be signed. It was a dope moment. MJ is cool as hell."
With him.
No, it doesn't.
That was one of your best moves, wasn't it, when you were playing?
That does not look easy to any more.
He's a cool cat, man. We often talk about our poker strategies. We always impart some sort of knowledge and wisdom before we part ways. I appreciate that. Me, him, and Charles Oakley have been planning on playing poker. Did you know that the very famous face of the hit morning show, The View, Whoopi Goldberg, also has a fondness for Michael Jordan? Goldberg once said that Jordan not only looks like, but reminds her of her own brother. Retired football star Lawrence Taylor has a tight bond with Jordan as well. In fact, they're both golfing buddies. Taylor once revealed that he and Jordan will sometimes play golf for money to make things interesting.
It's just like him, the Detroit Pistons beating the Bulls, you know, and that just ate at me.
But says that he doesn't want any more of Jordan's money, and what he really wants are Air Jordan kicks instead. Wait, does this mean that Taylor routinely beats Jordan at golf? Sure sounds like it. I gotta say, I'd love to watch Taylor and Jordan square off on the golf course. And did you know that famed late-night talk show host Jimmy Fallon had an awkward encounter with MJ? One day, Fallon found himself playing at a charity golf event with former New York Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter and Jordan. When Derek asked, "Jimmy, do you know Michael?" Jimmy of course said, "Yeah." But then Fallon went in to give Jordan an awkward hug and nearly kissed Jordan on the cheek, as Jordan tried to do the same and kiss Fallon on the cheek. The exchange was as awkward as it was hilarious.
Should be an easy two. Kaboom!
JB Smooth's best Michael Jordan story will also tickle your funny bone. According to JB, there's a famous picture of Jordan hunched over, holding on to Scottie Pippen during a game, and JB says that's because Jordan had a case of the shits, or as Snoop Dogg would say, the bubblies. And there you have it, ladies and gents. Those were the best celebrity stories about basketball legend Michael Jordan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.